Shalom. Well, today's Sunday, 22nd of November. I understand you all are getting ready to worship on the, Thanksgiving, another pagan holiday, but anyway. This video, there's two videos here. This video here is going to be on inheritance. The inheritance of Katya, Isaak, and Kristtian. The second video is going to be about saving your ass with the shit that's getting ready to come down in the United States. I'm going to go into that. And I'm going to say you need to listen to both of them and we go from there. Okay? All right. I'm going to talk about inheritance. You know, when parents die, usually the father's first, the man, then the wife, most of the time. And then when the mother dies, assuming she's second, then, and that's assuming they're married, of course, there is an inheritance that's left for the children. In this case, I have three: Katya, Isaak, and Kristtian. And even though Ian was a son, it was a stepson, not by blood. And even though there'll be something of inheritance, so to speak, for you, Ian, it's going to be very minute in relation to the overallness of what is and could be in relation to an inheritance. But at the same time, the inheritance is going to be very small, and I'm going to talk about that. The other day, Roy is the leader, kind of like, we don't use the word Rabbi because it's not supposed to, but so you get an idea. He's the one, he's the leader of the congregation here, the Kehillah. We do not use the word church. That's totally pagan, 100%. That's where you guys go to, pagan, because you're in a pagan doctrine, but that's your decision. Now, he came over and we spoke for a while, and I just shared with him this about the inheritance, because it's something that I've been wanting to share for quite a while, but just haven't gotten around to it until now, and it's time, and so that you understand. Okay. Now, the inheritance is very simple. Generally speaking, you have the firstborn son, then you have the others. Even though Katya was born first, she is the daughter, a woman. She's not a son, a man. So Isaak would be the firstborn, and then would come Katya and Kristtian. Now, and that's really more, I should say this, that's more in relation to the blessing that's passed from the father to the son. It always goes to the firstborn son, the major blessing of Yahweh, and then there is a blessing naturally as well for the daughters and the other sons that may be. But I'm going to talk about that as well, because it's very important for you to understand what's getting ready to happen in relation to the inheritance. Back in September 27th, 29th of 2009 was when I arrived in Colombia. And finally, being outside of the United States, Isaak, Kristtian, and Katya, I knew that I could call and try to reach you guys for the first time after you were stolen by your mother to try to arrive at communications. I immediately, within 2 to 3 days, called your mother. I was able to, and I knew where she was and all that kind of stuff in relation to her work, and I told her that I wanted to contact you, which she refused, which is so hypocritical because, just a few months ago in my last conversation with Ian, Ian stated that he had talked to Marisol, his mother, and that she had stated to him that all she has ever wanted from the very beginning was for my children to have communications in a relationship with me. Well, that's the biggest piece of hypocritical crap ever. But then, Marisol, since you're going to see this as well, you are a hypocrite. I mean, you're a liar, you're a false accuser, you're an adulteress, you're an idolater, you're a murderer. There's so many things, it's mind-blowing. All I can know is this: I'm glad you are out of my life, that's for sure, because I have life down here far better than any of you have it in the United States. That's for sure. The only difference, Marisol, is that you have the stolen children. Okay, and stolen they were, brainwashed, indoctrinated to have hatred, anger, total breaking away of the relationship with their father. And believe me, Marisol, when you go before Yahuwah, Yahushua, oh, you're not going to be able to get away from that one. You know, you can go to church on your day of worship of the Sunday, and just, oh, Jesus, forgive me, and all this, and let me tell you something, Jesus ain't going to be able to do crap for you on the day that it comes. Biggest lie. But I know why you do it. You know, you do that, and you make those statements so that you can go back to Isaak, Kristtian, Katya, and say, oh, all I've ever wanted was a relationship between you. But you know what? The thing about it is they don't know what you did. And like I stated in the first video, they're going to know everything about the marriage. They're going to know what you did, all your lies, everything, your hypocrisy, everything of you and the Busquets overall. Not generally speaking, and that would not generally speaking include Gongi. It will include Richard, your other brother. He's a total hypocrite. Okay, but anyway, and your sister and all that. Gongi overall, not. Okay, Gongi's going to have some really interesting revelations of the crap that his parents were doing behind his back. That's coming for him as well, so he understands. So, you know, like, for example, Gongi, did you know that your wife was screwing around, you know, according to your parents, she was screwing the doctor she was working for? Yeah, and all that kind of stuff. Did you know that your parents believe 100% that you were your wife was drugging your daughter so that she would keep her in a comatose state because she didn't want to take care of her properly? So basically, that's why your daughter never moved out of that like a child seat. Yeah, and that your mother came over. I don't think she was with your father at that time, but I could be wrong. But definitely your mother came over. That she had caught Susie giving large doses of cough medicines and other stuff to your daughter in order to keep her in a sedated state so that she wouldn't have to deal with, you know, the usual things a child does. Cry, you know, take up your time and stuff like that. Anyway, that's why your daughter never, Gongi, crawled when she was little. She never crawled because she was always drugged by Susie. Did you know that? Okay, but these are the things that were coming from your parents over to us and all the bullshit, etc. I will say one thing, kind of gotten off track here from inheritance. Ricardo did the right thing. He cut the relationship, and you did too, Gongi. He cut the relationship with your parents off for a good 4+ years when he saw that your parents are trying to get into his marriage and destroy his relationship with his wife, Ingrid. That's a fact. Okay, and he did that very well. But, you know, he's still a hypocrite, and I'm going to go into that a whole lot more down the road, etc., and all that kind of good stuff. But anyway, all right. Now, let's keep going about inheritance. Okay, so inheritance is what's left, you know, of whatever wealth or assets, cash, whatever it may be, that the parents leave when they die, okay, and they leave to their children. Okay, so I want to talk about that because it's very important for Isaak, Kristtian, and Katya to understand about that, okay? And it all goes into the fact why I'm going to be married, and I'm going to be married into a woman who can give me children. Yeah, that's a fact too. I'm going to have more children. And why? Well, like I said, in September, end of September, well, let's say the first week of October, I talked to your mother, called her several times, trying to get your contact information because now finally being in Colombia, which was interesting because for a full year practically, your mother refused to believe that I was in Colombia because I had and the caller ID was showing that I was calling from the Chicago 630-701-6725 phone number. So for a whole year, basically, it was funny. I just laughed my ass off. And so did all my friends that knew that I was in Colombia, laughed my ass off, said how stupid your mother was, because she believed I was in Chicago. Even though I tell her, I'm not in Chicago, I'm not in the United States, I left. But see, when I left the United States, I left and I didn't even use a passport of the United States as a United States citizen. And I didn't even have a passport of a Colombian citizen. But your mother was right about one thing. She did say something about me. And she had previously stated that if there ever was a time whereby I needed to disappear, that I could disappear and I couldn't be found. And she's right. In a matter of speaking, she's pretty well right. I definitely couldn't be found by her, the judges, the lawyers, bond, all that kind of crap. You know, they're in Oklahoma. Federal government, they could find me, okay? But I'm pretty close to getting out of that also. But anyway, for the moment. Anyway, so it's kind of interesting. I just laughed. It wasn't until finally I sent photographs and videos of me in Colombia that finally your mother finally knew that I was not in the United States any longer, and she couldn't lay a hand on me. Come to think of it, she never laid a hand on me in 14 years of marriage. oh boy, what a nightmare. Anyway, so the point is that when I did arrive in Colombia and I tried to reach her, that I wanted to talk to you guys, get that relationship that she always wanted, she refused. She would not give me her contact information. She refused that if I called her, refused to give me her cell phone, refused to give me her house number, refused to give me everything so that I could reach Isaac, Kristtian, and Katya to try to reestablish and make the attempts to reestablish, restore a stolen relationship that never was your mother's. Okay, that's the facts. That's the truth, Katya, Isaac, and Kristtian, okay? Your mother refused, and I understood, and I understand today exactly why. And that is basically your mother dreads the day in which you're going to know the truth, the whole truth, and all of it, 100% as to what she did. Everything from the theft, the lies, the accusations, it kind of like, I think I already mentioned this before, but I'll mention it again. It's kind of like when I was talking to Ian, I don't know, sometime at the beginning of this year, and I asked him, I said, did you know what happened when I left the house what was the name of it? Where the blue house we lived on, before, we were trying to buy and all that. I said, do you know what happened that all of a sudden I was kicked out? Do you know what happened? Then he said, no. I said, well, let me tell you. And then you tell me if you knew this. And he said, okay. Something like that in the conversation. Anyway, I said, did you know that when I lost that job in St. Louis, which would have been a great job, I would have easily been making $100,000 plus a year, and our financial situation would have changed inside out. But anyway, I said, did you know that when I didn't get that job, I was fired because I was accused of being anti-Semitic, anti-Jewish, which is interesting, but that's so far from the truth, it's mind-blowing. One of my goals is when I do get married is I want to be able to give my wife a honeymoon to Israel for a good 2 to 3 weeks or a month. That's a goal that I have, and I believe I'm going to be able to do that. Anyway, let's keep going. So when that happened, Marisol and I had decided that we were both going to get regular jobs. Even I hated it, but we needed to do that in order to sustain the family. We were going to get an apartment. She would go to work. I would go to work, and we'd pull out of it. And we would have pulled out of it. There's no question about it. We don't quit. I don't quit. Your mother quit. She's a quitter. No question about it. Okay, so let's keep going. Now, but her father found out through her sister Eileen about what happened. He asked us to come over. He called us and said he wanted us to come over to his house, the condominium, because they were putting the house up for sale that they lived in for a number of years there on 18th Street Place or whatever. And so he wanted us to come over, and so I told Marisol I didn't trust him. I didn't trust him for as far as I could throw him. Never have, etc., because I've always known the hatred, the anger, and everything else, how he had just tried for years, before we even got married, to destroy our relationship, and he tried for years to destroy our marriage, our family. Yes, that's right, Katya, that's right, Kristtian, and that's right, Isaac. Okay, for years. So I didn't trust him whatsoever. When Eileen said that he was looking at giving us the house while we got back on our feet, I didn't trust him. I didn't trust him because I'm looking at a man that's not who he is. I was looking at a man who all he tried to do was destroy our family, and so I knew that he was going to more than likely use this disaster to do exactly that. And actually, that's exactly what did happen. When we went over there, and I'll go into it in a lot more detail, but basically, Isaac, Katya, and Kristtian, your grandfather, who you see and you go eat and have dinner and all of that, who destroyed Marisol with Michael. Michael now is Ian's biological father, and he was married to Marisol, your mother, before. He destroyed their marriage, 100%. Okay? He destroyed it. And he had always tried with your grandmother, Ida, to also destroy our marriage. They accomplished the destruction of Michael's marriage to your mother. And they succeeded in the destruction of our marriage, our family, okay, everything. And you guys go ahead and just have dinner with him, etc., not knowing the truth, when you're sitting with the enemy, okay, the son of a bitch, 100%, who I really don't want him to die. I want him to live. I really do, because I want him to live when you three recognize the truths and finally realize the truth, and then you go forward. Okay? I know what I would do, but anyway, I won't go into that in relation to finding out the truth, etc. Just like I found out the truth about what happened between my mother and my father at the age of 33. Hopefully, it won't occur for you guys until you reach 33, and that's the purpose of these videos. See, in my own personal life, I felt that I was responsible for the destruction or the divorce of my mom and dad. I did. I felt that until I was 33 years of age approximately, where I finally sat down and talked with my mom and all that and found out the truth. Well, see, I made a promise to myself, and that is my children are not going to ever feel that they're responsible for the divorce, the destruction of our family. And the only way you're going to know that is you got to know exactly what happened. You got to know the intricate details of the marriage, why the marriage itself was a failure. You got to know what your grandparents did, everybody else that's involved did. Why was that all of a sudden I disappeared off the face of the earth in 2005, and you never saw me again? It was like I was dead, no phone calls, no nothing, not even a goodbye, not a Christmas card, not a birthday card, and I don't send those out anymore because that's all pagan bullshit, okay? But the point is I disappeared off the face of the earth, and I'd be so curious, and I really would love to know, what was it your mother told you? I'd love to know what it was that your mother told you 3 years to, why all of a sudden I disappeared off the face of the earth. I know one thing for sure. She didn't tell you the truth. But anyway, let's keep going, because this is about inheritance. But gosh, it's so easy to get off into this because it's all together. It's kind of hard to just take one part out, etc. But let's keep going. Okay, so. Again, after I arrived here in September of 2009 or so, all of a sudden, I discovered that your mother was moving forward to change your name from Bourbano to Busquets. Now, that's a total abominable perversion, and that has to do with the incest in the Busquets family. And I'm going to go into that really big time because you three have become a part of the perversion. Yeah. Perverts, okay? And when you realize what you've done, maybe you'll wake up, okay? But anyway, I'm going to keep going. Anyway, so I discovered, and she did it all through fraud. All fraud, because that's the way. The divorce was a fraud. The marriage was a fraud. Why I married your mother was a fraud. She lied to me, misrepresented, told me untruths, everything about her. I married someone who represented themselves. She represented herself as being, wow, and it was all a lie. And actually, when I go into the real details of the whole marriage, we're looking at 30, 40 hours of video on the net, and there's going to be some surprises there, okay? But the truth's going to come out. And stuff. So anyway, so I found out that she had changed her name, and she came back to me telling me that, the reason she changed their names was because Katya, Isaak, and Kristtian, an 11-year-old little boy, came to Mama and said, "Oh, Mama, listen, I want to change my name because I'm ashamed of mine. Can we legally go before? Can you take me before the court and legally change my name and all that from Bourbano because I want to be a Busquets just like you?" Well, mighty soul, let me tell you something. You have to be totally full of horseshit to believe that conversation ever happened. You changed their name. You brought it out in the open to them, and the whole shebang. And they did it. And they did it in ignorance, etc. And with all the indoctrination that between you and your parents and hopefully not others, but even the potential of Ian and your brothers, totally indoctrinated and brainwashed and turned my 3 children with an intense hatred, intense anger, furious against her father. And see, the thing that's kind of funny about that is that you think that by going on your day of sun worship and going, "Jesus, forgive me for what I did," that you're okay. And see, that shows the cultish, diabolical nature of Christianity, which was created by the Catholic Church. Yeah, you really need to look that up. You really need to do research because, man, you all are Catholics and you don't even know it. But anyway, and you think that everything's fine, and I've been forgiven and washed by the blood. It doesn't work that way. That's because, see, the Christianity, just like the Catholics, do not at all go with the Torah. The Torah is basically the first 5 books of the book, They call it the Bible. We hate using that word because Bible is a pagan term, and it comes from Biblius, which comes from the worship of the fertility pagan gods. Fertility like sperm. Gosh, I mean, gosh, oh man, it's just when I think of 24 years of being in a diabolical cult, but all I can say is this: I'm no longer in that crap. I'm out of that, okay? And now I'm in the Torah, and that's where it counts. Okay, so let's keep going. So, you decided to change your name. And when I talked to Ian about this a few months ago, he came immediately when I asked him, well, why did Mighty Soul do that? He told me that it was Mighty Soul. Yeah, you, Mighty Soul, you changed your name. It wasn't them. He told me that. But then afterwards, after he told you that he told me that, you were naturally shivering because you had already told me that they did it. No, Mighty Soul, listen, I've got documentation that shows that the entire proceedings of the changing of the names of my children were totally false. They were done with the cooperation of the judges, and especially, what's his name, Damon Cantrell. Okay, all of you, you got together with all of the pagan priests, the satanical priests, because that's basically what these black judges are. By black I mean they wear the black wardrobe. They're all satanic priests, and they're in a satanic priesthood. And you got together with them and you joined them in their diabolical thing, and you did that. I don't believe that the judges came to you with, hey, why don't you change your No, that was you. That was you. So, for you to try to feed me this bullshit that my little 11-year-old and 12-year-old and 14-year-old are going to come out of nowhere and say, we want to go to court and we want to, oh, come on. Kid, the thing about you, Mighty Soul, is this. You can't even tell the truth. You lie left and right. Lie. I mean, we used to tell Ian, because Ian used to lie all the time. And every time Ian lied, he'd lie more to cover up the other lie, and then lie more and he'd get into this huge snowball of lies, and he'd get caught. And then you would jump on him, you'd scratch him, you'd make him bleed, you'd punch him. I've never seen anything like it. You were like a piece, like a lion on a piece of meat. Boy, and I'm going to talk about that a whole lot more, okay? I mean, you're freaking crazy. You would go crazy. You'd lose your mind. But anyway, I'll talk about that a whole lot more in the website that's coming up. But anyway, let's keep going. So, you did it, Mighty Soul, okay? Who are you kidding? Okay, and then this thing about all you've ever wanted was for me to have a relationship. Well, let me ask you a question, Mighty Soul. Very simple. How am I supposed to have a relationship with my children when you take out a fraudulent restraining protective order, accusing me that I was going to murder them, and going into the courtroom and telling the judge that I'm going to murder you, kill you, and the children, and therefore you need the protective order, when you knew all that was false. But all I ever want is for your dad and you guys to have a relationship. You're a freaking liar. But again, it's okay. I'm a Catholic Christian, and I go to church on Sunday, and I say, forgive me for all of that, and I'm washed by the blood, and I'm going to heaven. That's what you believe. Boy, are you in for a big freaking surprise at the end of time, when it comes time. Okay? Now, so let's keep going. So Isaak, Kristtian, and Katya, they took away their name of inheritance, Borbano, and they put the name and took the name of your father, the son of a bitch who destroyed our family, the son of a bitch who sexually, I believe firmly, molested you, because you are definitely a sexually molested woman. No question about that. And everything points the finger to your father, just like everything points the finger that I firmly believe that my daughter, Katya, was sexually molested by your father to some degree. I believe that 100%. And you think, I'm only doing that to her, Katya? No, I'm not doing that to her, Katya. And you come back with this bullshit. You're only saying this about my father to get revenge. No, Mighty Soul, you know me better than that. You know me better than that. No. I can't do that. The Torah does not allow me to do that. There's no way to come with a false accusation, okay? Now, but I believe firmly that he did. Okay, I believe firmly. The evidence proves it out. Okay, the evidence proves it out. And I'm going to be going into the evidence. And this is going to be going to everybody in Puerto Rico. You got no idea how many people are getting this. Hundreds and hundreds. And like I said before, this website's going to go all over. So when you say to me, Mighty Soul, the kids were so ashamed of you that you were asking for, you were taking their pictures off of Facebook and putting them onto your Facebook. Well, Mighty Soul, my question is very simple. What the hell was I supposed to do? I want pictures of my kids you have totally destroyed, deliberately, intentionally, with all malice, and you and your parents and possibly your brothers and sister. Not sure about that part, but definitely your parents. I know them inside out. Okay, there's no way in hell that your parents are not going to say anything against me. There's no way in hell that's going to happen. They did it while we were married. All they did was speak against me, just like they spoke against Michael Henstill all the time, mighty soul. How do I know that? You told me. You told me. All they'd ever do is attack Michael Henstill all the time. Yeah, Ian. All the time they attacked your father, and they're trying to destroy the marriage with your mother, and there's a reason for that, and I'm going to go into that when I cover everything. But anyway, so you changed their name. Okay, you changed their name. Well, hey, you can change your name to Mickey Mouse, okay? Everybody has a right to do that. But then maybe you can't. I don't know. Maybe copyrighted and all that, but anyway. Okay, let's keep going. Now, when you did all that you did in relation to the United States and all the false accusations, etc., I immediately stopped paying you a freaking dime. I think I paid you twice, about $475 the first 2 months. Then I stopped. You weren't going to get another dime from me. You accused me of all of this, fraudulent restraining order and everything, telling me that I was going to sexually abuse my children and all that to steal them. Everybody knew you were lying. Even the judges knew you were lying. But see, you made the statement, so they have to take it, even though they know you're a freaking liar. And since the judges hated me because I kicked his ass, Cantrell, total idiot, I kicked his ass. I beat him in the courts. Total idiot. And so he was glad for anything and everything to destroy me. And hey, why not throw in the stealing of the children? I'll help you. All the judges are my friends. They'll help you, and they sure did. Those judges helped you, mighty soul, in changing the name to Busquets. But see, everything we do has complications or repercussions, okay? And that's what's happened here, and I'm going to talk about it because it's very important for Katya, Isaac, and Kristtian to understand. Okay, so I stopped paying after 1 or 2 months. I didn't pay more than that. I think I might have only paid 1 month. But anyway, I stopped. It wasn't going to happen. They can put me in jail, etc., but that wasn't going to happen either. I'll be frank with you. I would have put a bullet in my head and maybe somebody else's head also before I ever paid another freaking dime, because it's not going to happen. And mighty soul, you know me. One thing that runs my life is my convictions and my principles. Okay? And that wasn't going to happen. I was not going to give a freaking dime after what you did. I mean, that would be like, okay, you steal my children, you accuse me of this, I can't see them, can't even send them a birthday card. No, I don't send birthday, like I said anymore, that's all pagan crap. But anyway, I can't, nothing, not even a phone call. And yet on top of that, I'm supposed to give you money? That would be me saying, it's okay with everything you did, mighty soul. Here, let me bless you with some money. Not going to happen. It's not going to happen then, it's not going to happen now. And the repercussions for changing the name of my children are great. Definitely great. First of all, it's an abomination, perversion, totally. I don't really know the repercussions of that down the road when it comes to judgment time, but my kids are responsible for that, because you're supposed to honor your father and your mother, da-da-da-da, etc. And all this, they've dishonored me. They have slandered me. They have hatred towards your father, which is murder, and etc., and all instigated by who? The Busquets, with you being the principal party on that. But don't worry, mighty soul, you went to church on your Sunday of worship and say, oh, son, Jesus, son, S-U-N, forgive me. I'm covered by the blood, and I'm okay now, and I'm going to heaven. Ugh. You're such a freaking stupid bitch. It's mind-blowing, okay? No knowledge of the Torah, no knowledge of the Word that you guys call the Bible. No knowledge of it whatsoever. You think that's, oh gosh. My only concern is this. You will take Isaac, Kristtian, and Katya to Sheol with you. That's my concern. That's my concern. Anyway, let's keep going. Okay, so for all these years, I was supposed to be paying $475 a month for the three of them. Okay, never paid it except for that first or second month. Okay, now, let's continue. So, inheritance. There's a lot of stuff that's happening here in Colombia. Absolutely phenomenal. Phenomenal. And they're getting ready to take over and happen and all that kind of good stuff, etc. And so, unless I die tomorrow, which could happen, but if I live another 10, 15 years, I'm believing I'm going to live till 2033, the day of reckoning. Okay? But anyway, let's keep going. That's a whole other topic. because we are definitely in the end times. And those that are in the Torah will know the date and times of the return of Yahushua and the Father who saved us, Yahuwah. No question about it. It's very plainly written in Scripture. But anyway, let's keep going. So, you changed your name to Busquets. Well, an inheritance is coming. What's happening here is phenomenal with this agricultural hydroponic vertical tower system that's mind-blowing. And talking to a foundation who's looking at spending $250,000 to $500,000 in equipment, etc., and then another guy in Ecuador who wants to put up a system. He's going to give me a loan so that I can put up my own system, and etc. And so my financial situation is very good right now. Okay, man, this year changed. Small investment I made is paying off every single month. Okay, and nothing like Europe for investments. Excellent. In a matter of speaking, even though we're all their jihadist freaking problems they have, they should really exterminate all that vermin. Okay, and so we go from there. But anyway, let's keep going. Now, so for $475 for since basically 2005. So we're looking at 10 years. 10 years. So you're looking at 12 months in a year. Let's say $500 or 12 months. Let's just say that's $6,000. For 10 years, that's $60,000. Let's add another 20 just for a cushion. Let's say $80,000. Okay, is owed. Let's just say that. What the hell? I mean, can't touch me down here. That's for sure. And I'm not planning on going back to the States. There's nothing there but hell, and I'm living in paradise. So wouldn't it be kind of stupid for me to go from paradise to hell? Gosh. So let's keep going. So what I'm going to be doing is this. I'm going to do a thing whereby let's just, like, again, we're just using 80,000. That'll be fine-tuned when the time comes. But Katya, being the oldest, she would have been around 12. Let's see, I'm born in 92. This started in 2005, 13 years. Is he 92? Okay. And you do the years, the months, and I'm going to say, basically, she, from September of 2005 all the way until she reached 18, that would have been 6 years. Divide the 6 year, divide the 475, let's say, by 3 people, by you 3. So let's just say that's $500 divided by 3. Let's say it's $165. So $165 divided by 6 times 6 years, or 6 times 12, 72 months. So that's 72 months times, like I just said, $175 more or less. And that's what Katya would have received. Okay? From what they call child support. But see, the truth of it is it's not child support. It's actually alimony. See, you got to know how this thing works inside. It's alimony. We fathers who were in, I'm no longer in that, but in the father's rights movement, I learned it's not child support. That's nothing but a fake out. It's actually alimony that's given to the wife, and I wasn't going to give it. So anyway, so Katya would be somewhere around $8,000. Then Isaac, he's a little bit in it longer. He might end up being at $9,000. Kristtian, being even in it longer, he might be in at $12,000. Okay, all the way up until he reached 18, and so we'd be looking at, let's say, 12, 10, and 8. Okay. 8 Katya, 10 Isaac, and 12 Kristtian, just for simplicity's sake. Okay. When that time comes that I'm able to do that, okay, that money is going to go to you. But I'm going to tell you right now, you want it? You're going to have to come to Colombia to get it. Now, those funds will be set aside by the director, trustee, Gary Leone, in a bank in Tulsa, Oklahoma, where it can be verified. My name won't be on that blood money anywhere, so it can't be touched by the judges or stolen, okay? And that money will be there for each of you, and the condition of that money being released to Katya Oaks, Kristtian Busquets, and Isaac Busquets is upon you coming to Colombia We paid for tickets and everything, and you're going to spend some time with me. I gotta force it. Now, you don't want the money? Not a problem. Not a problem. Don't take it. If after, I don't know, there'll be a condition that Gary Leone, the trustee, will put into it, that if after a year it hasn't been completed, the trip, or maybe if only one of you, let's say Kristtian, or let's say Isaac. I believe Isaac would come. Okay? Let's say Isaac is the only one that comes in a year, then you know what's going to happen? He's going to get all of it. He'll get all of it. You other two, you forfeit it, no problem. I'll give it to all of Isaac. Or if it ends up being only Kristtian comes and he gets all. If it ends up being that only 2 of the 3 come, then the one from the other will be divided up between the 2. I don't care. Believe me, if things happen the way they're moving, okay, I could care less. And if after a year none of you come, the money's forfeited. End of story. Thank you very much. No problem. Keep working in a Pizza Hut or wherever it is, Isaac, that you're working. Love you, but you know what? Go for it. Now that's in relation to the alimony that the court is giving your mother that she ain't getting. It's not going to happen. Instead, it's going to you 3. And it's going in your pocket. Now, if you want to give it to your mommy afterwards, I don't care. Stupid. Stupid. But go ahead. That's for you to buy a car with or whatever you want to do with his studies. I understand Isaac, he wants to go to avionics, like Gongi. I think that's a great idea. Go for it. Wants to use it for that. Go for it. Use it. Etc. And, Ian, I told Ian a little while back that I want to bless him with a camera. I'm believing for that. That hasn't happened yet, but I'm believing for it, okay, because things are happening here. And anyway, it's all that kind of good stuff. Now, let's keep going. Inheritance. If things go right, we have a huge investment. Gary Leone, the trustee, has made a huge investment, in which I'm a part of, in an item. And if it goes extremely well, this huge investment that we're all expecting, quite a few of us are in it, and it's expected to go at any time, it'll be worth millions. Low capital outlay, but it's worth millions. And my life will definitely change, because I'm going to take those millions and I'm going to build a hydroponic, probably 4 or 5 acre farm here that'll be producing 100,000 plus easily every 2 weeks, if not every week's net in the pocket. Multi-million-dollar thing. And so the point is, if things go right and I'm alive, things are going to absolutely just be going. And the day will come when I'm going to die. Unless I'm still alive in 2033, then I could be one of those that when Yahushua returns, I'm alive. That'd be a nice thing. But let's continue. That doesn't happen and I die next 5 years or whatever. I'm naturally going to be married. And I'm going to be married with a young woman. I don't want nobody in their 50s, old. Nah. And I'm talking to a number of women that are highly interested in a serious relationship. And basically the age that I want is between the ages of 29 to 37. And yeah, I'm turning 64 here in January, but you know what? Doesn't matter. These women like older men, and especially older men that can provide them with financial security, a home, etc., and all this kind of stuff. And I'm looking at women from China who are very family-oriented and all that. And I'm also looking at some women from Central America, especially Mexico. I'm getting ready to start talking to one who's 29 years old, a model, and absolutely gorgeous. She wrote me. She found me. She sent me her pictures and everything. And she says, look, I'd like to explore to see if you're interested in a serious relationship. I want a family. I want kids. Is that something that you'd be open to? Well, I can say it. You bet your life. That's exactly what I'm open to. Now, but what's interesting, though, is this. See, originally, I wasn't looking. I'd always thought of a woman who's maybe 15 years younger than me, which would put her, let's say, 44 to 49. I definitely didn't want a woman in the 50s. They're old, okay, generally speaking, okay? Look old, already, kind of like your mother, okay? And don't want that, okay? But, and so I was always thinking of a woman in the mid-40s. But when I discovered, and I found out, because your mother didn't tell me. That's for damn sure. She didn't tell me. Okay? Man, she wasn't going to tell me nothing about that. That she changed her name to Busquets, to the son of a bitch father who destroyed our marriage, who destroyed her life by sexually molesting her. Incest? Okay, wow. Mind-blowing. And I'm going to go into that a whole lot more, because, see, there is a spiritual connotation in relation to her doing that. Okay? And it's like, here, Dad, you sexually molested me, and these are the children I'm not giving you from that. It's a total perversion, but anyway, you'll see. Let's keep going. Now, so when I found out that you had changed your names to Busquets, everything changed. I mean, you can change your name to Mickey Mouse for all I care, Donald Duck, Daffy Duck, I don't care. Okay? You can do that. But I knew it was done in fraud. But the point is that you're now old enough and you are still a Busquets, so that means you accept it. Go for it. Okay? Because after this conversation's over, you might want to talk to your grandfather, Dr. Busquets, the pedophile, and ask him what your inheritance is. I would do that. I strongly recommend that you do that, Isaak, Kristtian, and Katya. Because what you're going to find out is you might have a couple $1,000, and he's worth, my estimate is he's worth at least $1 million, if not $2 to $3 million. Okay? Your father's been pretty astute in his monies. So anyway, let's keep going. And I'm not that, but I help him make some money too. Not the millions, but he made some money with me, which is interesting. He accused me of stealing from him. Unbelievable. But that doesn't surprise me. But anyway, I'm going to go into that down the road also. But let's keep going. So you changed your name to Busquets. You took away your birthright. This is what I want you to understand. You sold your birthright for a measly porridge of soup, which in this actually you sold it for a piece of shit of a last name of Busquets, who they're the worst. Man, that's the last name in the world I'd ever want. But you don't know the truth. But you'll know it after you see the website and everything that's going to be going up down the road. But the point is, you made that decision and you have kept that decision, and you're a Busquets. Okay, not a problem. Now, inheritance. This is where you have the problem. The inheritance. If these things start to go here, which I believe in they are, I mean, I'm getting ready to go down. I mean, there's just a lot of stuff happening here in the course of just this next month. Okay? The financial situation is going to be huge. The people I'm talking to, we're looking at doing this all over South America with these systems. We've got universities that are lined up. I mean, we've got so much stuff here. And you know what? I have the exclusive rights. Well, I shouldn't say I don't have anything. Agro-Sud-America, this entity out of Central South America, they have the exclusive rights to this. That means everything that moves, breathes, and talks, these vertical hydroponic system, we get a cut out of. So let's keep going. So there's going to be an inheritance, and when this investment that we did in the Middle East pays off, that you're expecting any day. I mean, Agro-Sud-America will immediately become a multi-millionaire entity, etc. So down the road, there's going to be an inheritance, and it's going to be very substantial. And those lawyers are going to be instructed that inheritance will go to my children. And those lawyers are going to be instructed that the inheritance goes to the children that have the name Katya, Burbano, Oaks, whatever, Kristtian Burbano, Isaak Burbano. That's who the lawyers are going to be looking for. True name, true son of inheritance, true daughter of inheritance. Bourbanos. And naturally, there isn't any. They're going to go to you. They're going to land on your face, so to speak, and going to say, we're looking for Isaak Burbano. And naturally, Isaak, you'll say, oh, well, that's me. Oh, yeah? Okay, that's you. You'll say to the lawyer or the trustee, whoever it is, could be Gary coming. I need to see complete total documentation that's to your identity and your birth certificate. That's where the problem is. You cannot be a Bourbano and a Busquets. It's not going to happen. What you'll know is this. You'll know what your the inheritance of Isaak Bourbano is. But it can be $500,000, $20 million, who knows what. But you know what? I can tell you what. I can tell you this for sure. It's going to be a whole hell of a lot more than what your grandfather, incestuous son of a bitch, is going to leave you, which is basically nothing. It's not going to happen. His inheritance is going to go to his direct children. Very little, if anything, goes to the grandchildren. So in other words, it'll be Gongi, Ricky, Eileen, and Marisol. That's who gets the inheritance. And, you know, whatever it is. And then, when your mother dies, she can leave it to you, whatever that is. If there's anything there and all that kind of stuff. So, boom, end of story. So anyway, so when the lawyers or the trustees, directors come looking in Tulsa for Isaak and Katya Bourbano Oates, Kristtian Bourbano, Isaak Bourbano, they don't exist anymore. Wow. They don't exist. You know, it's interesting. When I was going through the divorce court with your mother, and not with her because I was totally against the divorce, and like I said previously, if you go into the court records, you will find that in the actual documentation of the divorce, you won't find my signature anywhere. None. Because that wasn't my shit. And my hands are clean in the divorce. Before Yahweh, before Yahushua. Your moms are full of shit. Everything. And she can't get them cleaned off. It ain't going to happen. And I'll go into a whole lot more why that can never be cleaned off unless she does something. And she won't do it. So that's why I say your mother will be going to Sheol. And I can definitely give her the scriptures for that. Anyway, let's keep going. So they will not find the lawyers, the directors, etc. when it comes time for the inheritance. They're not going to find a Bourbano. Wow. So there's Isaak Busquets. And who knows, maybe it's $500,000. The attorney says there, we got $500,000 for Isaak Bourbano that the father of Isaak Bourbano left. Where is he? We need him to come to our office immediately. Blah, blah, blah. And you go and, I'm him, that's me. Yep, prove it. Well, here's my birth certificate. And I really wonder about that birth certificate. And by that I mean I know this. I know that Marisol redid the birth certificates. What I'm curious about is who she put down for your father. And if she even put down anyone as your father. And if she didn't, but first of all, I don't want my name on that piece of shit. So I'm hoping that she didn't put me on that piece of crap. Which means what it makes you, Katya, is a bitch. You're fatherless. And Isaak and Kristtian, your mother made you bastards. Gosh, she loves you so much, doesn't she? You're bastards, if that's what happened. I believe that's what happened. Now, I can't get a hold of the birth certificate. I got to talk to them again. I've got to do some stuff since I'm in Colombia, South America, and all that, as to how I can get copies of the birth certificate. But maybe I'll ask you, Isaak, Kristtian, and Katya, why don't you send me a copy of? You have my email address. Why don't you PDF it and send it to me? Why don't you look at it and just write me? Yeah, Mom did put you down as the father. Or I have a funny feeling she didn't. I hope she didn't. Because that would be putting me down on a perversion into an abomination. I'm not a part of that. And if I find out that's what happened, I'm going to definitely, in the Virginia state records, I'm going to definitely be asked that my name be taken off of that piece of shit of a document. You're not going to bring me into that crap. No way. I am the father of Kristtian, Isaak, and Katya Bourbanos, not Busquets. Not now and not ever. It's not going to happen. So anyway, your inheritance, It works the same way as the alimony thing. You'll have a certain amount of time to correct that forever and expose it for the fraud that it is. And you will have to expose it for the fraud that it is. It isn't just changing your name, but you will have to do an affidavit. See, I want to be transparent to this. You know, when I was talking to the royal of the congregation here, we were talking about this, and I was asking him for counsel on that. And what I'm telling you, he's in agreement with 100%. You will have to declare that your names were changed in fraud because they were changed in fraud. And please don't come to me with this bullshit that they weren't, because the last thing I want to see either three of you become is what your mother is, a liar. Okay? So, you'll have to declare it in an official affidavit of truth that your names were changed fraudulently and a lot more stuff. Now, if only one of you does that, and let's say Isaac, I believe Isaac will do it. I could be wrong, but I believe Isaac will do it. Because see, I believe really that all three of you will do it. Why? Because when you find out the truth, first of all, you're going to look back, and you're going to look back with tears, and you'll be crying. Because how you three have treated me, your father, all based on lies, 100% lies. You judged me falsely. Boy, that's serious. I'm your father, and you judged me falsely. And when you get before Yahushua, do you have any idea of the implications, the repercussions of what you've done? No, because you're not going to get it from the Christian pulpit. It's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. But all of that's going to keep you out of the New Jerusalem. And so see, that's my biggest concern of everything. Mighty soul, your mother's already decided she will be going to Sheol. She's already made that decision. She's not changing that. She thinks, like I said, that going to the circus, because you know, and you go back and find out where church comes from, the word church and all that. Do you know that the root word is circus? Circus of clowns? Yeah, that's where you guys go to church. Circus of clowns. Oh, man, when I think of 24 years that I was in that horse shit myself, all lied to, everything. But anyway. So, maybe one of you will change it. Who knows, maybe it's worth $1 million each one of you in the inheritance. But it's only going to go to a Burbano. But let's say one of you changes it. Isaac, you change. Okay, you change. Kristtian doesn't, Katya doesn't. Okay. But you change. So guess what, Isaac? You get Kristtian's 1 million, if that's what it is, or $500,000, or 100,000, or 50,000. One thing's for sure, it's going to be a whole lot damn more than what your grandfather Busquets going to give you. That's for damn sure. Anyway, and so you will get your brothers and sisters' inheritance. They'll have a certain time period to make it happen. Hey, you guys are big boys, big girl now, married. I think I have a grandchild in Katya. I don't even know that. I don't even know if I'm a grandfather. How sickening, don't you think? But anyway. So, that's your inheritance. So, that's why, you know, like I said before, I was originally looking at remarrying and a woman in her 40s, gorgeous, etc. And when I saw that you guys changed your name and that now I have no inheritance. Because let me tell you something, Katya, Isaac, and Kristtian, and look at me really close. Is your father talking? There is no way in hell and on this earth that an inheritance that's worth anything is going to be left to a Busquets. It's not going to happen. Go ask your mother if I'm serious about the statement I just made, which is that there is no way in hell, there's no way under the stars, there's no way under the clouds of heaven that a Busquets will receive any of an inheritance that's substantial. Understand that. It's your decision. It's not mine. My decision is based on the repercussions, the consequences of you taking the name of a bastard who destroyed our family, sexually molested your mother, a pedophile. You took his name. live with it. And that's the part that concerns me. See, as you should know, because you should have already gotten the other video, unless Ian decided to hide it because I exposed Ian for the fact that he sexually molested your sister. So he may not even pass this video on. But I'm going to tell you something, Ian, since I know you're going to listen to this. If I discovered down the road that you didn't pass these videos on to Isaac, Kristtian, and Katya, you can kiss the fucking camera. That's over $4,000. Before you get that, I'm going to make sure that I know that Katya, Isaac, and Kristtian, and your mother receive this video and any other video I send you. If not, you can kiss the camera goodbye, and you can keep on living as a mediocre career photographer, because that's all you'll ever be, no matter how damn good you are. You're not moving up in the ranks. It's not going to happen. You don't have any degree. A newspaper's not going to hire you. You're not your father who's got a degree. He finished off the university, etc. It's not going to happen. Okay? Because the best you can do is get at least a damn good camera and hopefully open up shop somewhere. But let me tell you something. You won't get a dime from me, because there will be an inheritance for you, Ian, of some type. I can tell you that. Because, like I said, you were a victim, Ian. You were a victim. Definitely. But you screw with these videos and not pass them to Isaac, Kristtian, and Katya, and your mother, and you can kiss off what I've already had planned to bless you with, which the first thing will be the camera that you told me you wanted, which is about a $4,400 Canon, I think it was. I still want to bless you with that. But you screw with me, you can kiss that goodbye. You can go to your papon and ask him to give you the frickin' camera. I like to see that one. I like to see that one. So, Ian, just pass the frickin' videos on. Let your brothers and sisters make their own decisions. Anyway, that's where that's. So when I discovered that, that's when I decided when I get remarried, I need a woman who can give me a child, or more than one. So all of a sudden now, I'm thinking of a woman who is basically in her 30s. But I have dropped to 29. From 29 to basically 37, who wants children. But a lot of women at that age don't want any children. But, hey, I mean, there's plenty that do. The ones that don't, they're not going to be in my life, because I want a woman who wants a child. In fact, you know what I'm going to do in this video? I'm going to put some pictures of this girl in Mexico that we're just starting to talk, and she wrote me. She wants a family, etc. I'm going to give the pictures on that, just so you see her. She's 29 years of age. She's a model, and she really wants to see if her and I can develop something. And I'll see. She wants children, because, you know, that's family. Oh, so anyway, I'll send you her pictures so you see. Who knows? We'll see what happens. But one thing's for sure, my goal and my belief to be blessed is that before the end of 2016, I will be remarried. Okay? The finances have to be there. I could remarry right now with the finances that I have from the small investment, which is producing a few $1,000, okay, to me, that come to me from Europe. So you can't touch a mighty soul. Okay? But you know, a woman of the caliber and the pictures I've attached, I want to be able to bless her with even more. But honestly, I want to bless the woman that I marry, period. My goal already is to buy her dresses every week, shoes, everything. I'm going to dress her like the queen she will be, because she will be my queen. And a house and everything. So, a lot of great stuff happening. But anyway, going back to the inheritance. Katya, Isaac, and Kristtian, I did this for one very simple reason. You needed to know this. Why? Because it wouldn't be fair if your father took away your inheritance from you and you never knew why. You never knew that your actions was the reason. So the Roy of the congregation was 100%, which I already knew he would be, because the reason is sound. You need to know ahead of time what your decision to change your name to that bastard, okay, that destroyed our family, destroyed Michael and Marisol, Michael Henstill, Ian's father, his family, okay? You changed it to an incestuous son of a bitch. And there's no way in hell that I'm leaving you. It's not going to happen. Anything substantial. I mean, by substantial, I mean that it's going to make a difference in your life. I might leave you with $5,000 or something like that, but I'll tell you something. It's what? It's going to be gone so fast. It's mind-blowing. It won't even last. But anyway. So, now, I got a second video coming that's extremely important about what's coming up in the United States and how Isaak, Kristtian, and Katya, this would naturally involve David, will save your lives. Hey, but you know, you're big boys, big girl, you may decide you don't want to do that either. That's okay. But see, I got to let you know. Because I know one thing for sure. Your mother ain't going to save your life, and you're going to end up in concentration camps. You're going to end up screwed, because the shit that's coming politically in the United States is mind-blowing. And I'm gonna talk to you about that. So anyway, Shalom. I love the Bourbonos, and I believe one day they will reappear. And I believe one day they'll wake up to the lies, indoctrination, brainwashing that they have endured since the day that I departed, without so much as a hug. That you'll wake up to the truth. My home here in Colombia is open to you anytime. And believe me, I could support the three of you. Well, Katya's married. Isaak and Kristtian, I could support the two of you right now here in Colombia without even blinking. But anyway, it's open here anytime. Be sure to watch the next video about how to save yourselves with what's coming. Okay? All right. Shalom, shalom.